Have you ever shopped the punk section here before?
I have not.
Bikini Kill, the Big Boys, Black Flag, the Bad Brains, Aaliyah, Patti Smith, Subhumans. You can't go wrong with Dookie. There's nothing less cool than I've got these songs on my phone, but I've got this collection of records, and here's what they look like. That instead of just pushing a button, it becomes a fun activity. And I didn't want to do anything else. I want to continue this path I'm on of eating, sleeping, breathing music. Hi, I'm Chuck Roast, owner of Vinal Edge Records here in Houston, Texas. I collect so many records that it's more than absurd. When I was a kid, I was always around records. So we each had our own little record player, and we each had our own record collection. I fell asleep at night with headphones on, listening to the radio every night. This is where the records reside, along with a room over there that's just got a ridiculous amount more. In high school, as soon as I had a car, I was off to going to concerts. Found punk rock, found the Grateful Dead, and wow. My future wife and I were camping out across the country, following the Grateful Dead along the way. And we ran out of money in Houston in 1979. The idea was to get a job, work for a few months and get some money and continue on. But I fell in love with Houston. One of the things I like about Houston is all the different cultures and all the different scenes. But they're all very inviting to each of those little groups that are curious about them or want to be part of it. I could really get into the music scene, and within a few months, I was DJing on a radio station. Once I had a radio show, I just couldn't go anywhere. A lot of bands at the time couldn't even get their records into stores, and you couldn't really see many bands play except for the biggest bands, the Ramones and stuff like that. One of my starts in punk rock was when I went to see these two bands together. My wife swears she's still deaf from that show in one ear. I was doing punk rock radio, which led to bands contacting me of how to get shows, which led to me booking their shows. And then when they would come through town, I would buy their records from them. The Big Boys, this is like one of Texas's best punk bands of the early punk movement. So the next show I would put on, I had their records on a table at the concert venue. And I ended up with a table full of records, which ended up with a living room full of records, which ended up with my wife suggesting I possibly open a record store. We are frequently asked why we spell Vinal Edge Records, V-I-N-A-L-E-D-G-E. We wanted to convey at the time that we're selling records, which people call vinyl, and that we were selling music on the outer edges of what some people considered music, like the final edge. On the final edges of music and vinyl, we came up with Vinal Edge. And we truly were one of the very few places you could get punk rock records. And we carried things that were hard to find anywhere. We had the stuff that other people just did not have in this town. So we had the goods. This is some of our best-selling stuff. So one of my favorite records this past year was Cowboy Carter. We tried to have a little bit of everything, and that was always my goal. Here 40 years later, it seemed to work. All music is good because it's music. All sound is music. And every bit of it is just as valid as recorded music. I usually don't wear headphones when I go around, or earbuds or anything like that, because I really want to hear the environmental sounds of music. And I can listen to that stuff all the time, and I'm happy. And wherever we go, we pick up rocks. I am of an age where I am getting close to what would be retirement. There are those of us that just have that bug where we want to collect something. But the people who come in here might be more than one thing, but they definitely like to collect records. And when you're done with it, you can trade them in, you can sell them off, but odds are a lot of people really collect them for a long time.